Hey Commanders Nation! Before we dive into some buzzworthy news coming out of Ashburn, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. We've got some exciting updates today, starting with a rookie already making waves and a possible reunion that could plug a major hole on the offensive line. Let's get into it. So let's talk about the new kid on the block, Trey Amos, Washington's Day 2 steal of the NFL draft. And no, that's not hyperbole. General Manager Adam Peters said it himself. Amos was in the mix for our first-round pick. That's right. The Commanders had a first-round grade on the Ole Miss corner, and were absolutely thrilled to land him in the second. When a front office lights up over a Day 2 selection like that, you know they see something special. But what's grabbing even more attention this week? A cryptic Instagram story Amos posted. Just one image, but it set social media on fire. It showed him rocking his old Alabama Crimson Tide uniform, wearing the number 23, captioned, "If I kick." If you know, you know. Here's the kicker. He never actually wore number 23 during games. At Louisiana, he was number 21. At both Alabama and Ole Miss, he wore number 9. But for those of you following the Commanders closely, you know those numbers are off limits in DC. No, 21? Retired in honor of the legendary Sean Taylor. No, 9. That belongs to Hall of Famer Sonny Jurgensen. But number 23? That's available. Marshawn Lattimore, who briefly wore it after coming over from the Saints, has since reverted back to his college number, number 2. So is Amos claiming 23 as his own? Possibly. And if so, it's a bold move. That number carries a legacy. Michael, Jordan, LeBron James, legends in every sport. Maybe Amos is looking to start a legacy of his own with Washington's defense. And listen, the buzz this kid is generating already tells you one thing. He's not here to just play. He's here to make an impact. Now let's flip to the trenches, because this next update has some real implications for Jayden Daniels' protection. You remember Sam Cosmi, right? One of the best right guards in the league. The guy the Commanders handed a 4-year, $74 million extension to last November. Well, in that brutal divisional round game against Detroit, Cosmi went down with a torn ACL. He had surgery on January 28th, but there's no official timetable for his return. He's expected to miss most, if not all, of the 2025 season. And here's where things get interesting. With Cosmi sidelined, there's a growing buzz about a potential emotional reunion. And not just any reunion. We're talking about Brandon Scherff. Yes, that Brandon Scherff. The former number 5 overall pick, 5-time Pro Bowler, and one of the few bright spots during Washington's darker years. Scherff spent 7 seasons holding down the right guard spot, and was a tone setter on the interior. Now, here's the scoop. Sterling Sy from Pro Football Network recently floated the idea of bringing Scherff back to Washington as a short-term solution while Cosmi recovers. And honestly, it makes sense. Scherff is still a free agent after a mixed stint with the Jacksonville Jaguars. But let's not forget, he didn't give up a single sack in 2024. That kind of production, especially from a veteran who knows the building, the fan base, and the weight of this franchise, is hard to ignore. Let's look at the big picture. Washington already made major moves this offseason to protect Jayden Daniels. They traded for All-Pro left tackle Laramie Tunsil, then drafted Josh Conerly Jr. with the 29th overall pick. There's also Andrew Wiley, who can shift between tackle and guard, and Nick Allegretti, a former Super Bowl starter with the Chiefs. If Scherff comes in, it likely means a battle between Brandon Coleman and Allegretti at left guard, with Scherff manning the right side. That setup? It's not just functional, it could be elite. You've got proven veterans anchoring the ends in Tunsil and Wiley, a top rookie in Connolly ready to contribute wherever he's needed, and the potential return of a fan favorite in Scherff. That's the kind of depth and versatility you need if you want to protect a young star quarterback. Let's not lose sight of what Adam Peters is doing here. He's not just stockpiling talent. He's building a culture of competition. He's not afraid to bring in big personalities, to shake up the locker room, or to revisit the past if it means upgrading the present. Re-signing Scherff might be symbolic, but it would also send a clear message to the team. we're all in. No. Weak links, no gaps, no excuses. This isn't the old Washington where loyalty was rewarded over performance. Under Peters and Dan Quinn, it's all about accountability, excellence, and yes, results. Coming off a 12-5 season and their first NFC Championship appearance since 1991, the Commanders are no longer sneaking up on anybody. Dan Quinn and Adam Peters aren't building a feel-good story. They're building a legitimate contender. This team has completely shifted its identity. Once written off as rebuilding, Washington is now a franchise on the offensive, in every sense of the word. As Mayoff put it, this is year 2 of Adam Peters and Dan Quinn. The goal was to take advantage of having something special with Jayden Daniels. And if you're wondering whether they've capitalized on that opportunity, buckle up, because the receipts are coming. Ari Mayoff isn't handing out participation trophies. His offseason rankings are based on impact, value, and timing. And Washington checked every box. High-impact trades. Let's talk about the splash. Deebo Samuel. Yes, he had a down year. But on a prove-it deal with Wes Welker mentoring him, a motivated Deebo is a dangerous Deebo. Laramie Tunsil, the cornerstone left tackle Jayden Daniels needed. Forget the price. You pay to protect your franchise QB Marshawn Lattimore. Injury concerns? Sure. But when healthy, he's a lockdown. CB who can still shadow WR1s. Mayoff summed it up perfectly. Love that move. And I love that move too. Under the radar culture setters. This isn't just about big names. Washington re-signed leaders like Bobby Wagner and Zach Ertz, adding playoff-tested vets like Deatrick Wise, Javon Kinlaw, and Jonathan Jones. That's locker room depth, leadership, and versatility. The kind of moves that don't go viral, but win you playoff games in January. What made this offseason so smart? One word: leverage. Jayden Daniels is coming off a historic rookie campaign and still playing on a cheap rookie deal. That's cap space gold. You have this cheap rookie contract with Jayden for the next couple of years before it becomes $60+ million per year, Mayoff reminded us. Adam Peters knew exactly what that window meant. That's why he spent aggressively and drafted efficiently Josh Connolly Jr., a plug-and-play left tackle that Cliff Kingsbury literally pounded the table for. Trey Amos. Peters said he was in the mix for the first round. Mayoff agrees. That's a steal in round 2, Jalen Lane. Electric with the ball, according to Mayoff. Could return punts, stretch the field, or become a YSC monster. It's not about the number of picks. It's about hitting on the ones you make. And Washington did. Let's be real. Nobody in Ashburn is satisfied with just reaching the NFC Championship. Not anymore. The blueprint here looks eerily familiar. And that's by design. Mayoff made a sharp observation. This reminds me of Peters' time with the 49ers. So every year, they'd make a trade at the deadline if they were close. I think they'll do that here too. So don't be surprised if Peters isn't done. Washington is building with urgency. They know this is the window, before Daniels' contract explodes. And they're using every tool to stack weapons, depth, and leadership around him. The Commanders weren't alone in Mayoff's top 5, but they were arguably the most dangerous team on the list. Here's who else made the cut. Minnesota Vikings, for finding their QB of the future and reinforcing their defense. New England Patriots, a surprisingly efficient draft and foundational rebuild under Jared Mayo. Buffalo Bills, who reshaped their cap and kept their core intact. Los Angeles Chargers, now under Jim Harbaugh, they loaded up on the trenches and playmakers. Each team improved, but none have the momentum, quarterback ceiling, or aggressive front office that Washington currently boasts. So, Commanders. Fans, what do you think? Is Trey Amos about to start a new chapter in number 23 and become the next defensive star in DC? Should Brandon Scherf get a second run with the burgundy and gold to hold down the fort until Cosme returns? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. From mysterious rookie posts to potential reunions with legends of the past, one thing's clear: this Commanders team is never boring. Thanks for watching Commanders HQ, where it's always Sunpre's Take Command season.